What is conservatism? That's hard to say. Of our three theories, it's the most difficult to define, and it may even be part of the nature of conservatism that it's not easily defined. After all, part of the idea of conservatism is we can't reduce things into neat little categories. But I want to take a try at talking about what it means in general. And to do that, I want to focus on this word conserve. So one popular stereotype of conservatives is they're just against change, right? They either don't want any change or they're just extra suspicious of change. And a caution about proposed changes is certainly part of most forms of conservatism. At the same time, right, there's a little more to it than that. I tend to look at conservatism as the view that conserving the gains that we've made as a civilization, right, is important and not as easy as many liberals or libertarians seem to think. At least that's the conservative perspective on things. So the idea is that some of the gains we've made, economic gains, cultural gains, etc., right, are dependent on certain sorts of structures that are fragile. Right? And when we propose improvements to our structures, we have to ask carefully whether what we do will undermine that. When I say this, I'm partly thinking of a quote from a prominent British conservative, T.S. Eliot. He once said, "There are no lost causes because there are no gained causes." Or as the conservative columnist George Will put it, right, the most we can ever say as a society is, so far, so good. Right. Now, how does this play out in terms of the interactions between conservatives and libertarians? And conservatives and liberals? Well, when there's disputes between conservatives and liberals, it's often because conservatives are concerned that tinkering with the structures of government, especially adding new governmental actions to fix things, right, will have unintended side effects, right, that are going to undermine the gains we've made. Right? The concern about libertarians is the opposite assumption, that certain things that we manage to keep in place due to various kinds of government and cultural activity, right, are going to remain there in an unproblematic way, right, if we take away a lot of the forms of support. Right? As the late Russell Kirk said once in discussing libertarianism, most of our political and economic order could not survive one day with the changes that many of the radical libertarians propose.